But let's start with the escalating conflict in the Middle East. Energy prices, as Kelly mentioned, are spiking. And this is after Israel struck Iran's vast South Pars natural gas field. And now Iran is retaliating across the region. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. is on track in Iran, but would not say specifically when the conflict could end. In a press briefing just a short time ago, he was asked about the Pentagon requesting $200 billion for the war.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done, for what we may have to do in the future, ensure that our ammunition everything's refilled, and not just refilled, but above and beyond.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now from our D.C. bureau. Olivia, good morning. Great to see you. What more did we learn from today's Pentagon briefing that we didn't already know?
Well, good Thursday morning. It's good to see you both. Yes, that $200 billion figure certainly stood out to me. That was some reporting yesterday from the Washington Post that Secretary Hegseth confirmed there. And it's notable because in comparison, the U.S. has given about $170 billion to Ukraine, but that's been over 5 years. We are 20 days into this conflict, and now the Pentagon is going back to Congress and saying they need $200 billion. That is very notable. I also want to point out that Secretary Hegseth said that today is going to be yet another day of the most intense strikes so far in the war in Iran. And if you're thinking you're having deja vu, I felt the same because Secretary Hegseth has said that at the last previous press conferences that he has had at the Pentagon. And the reason why he is saying that, though, is because the U.S. has continued to penetrate deeper and deeper into Iran's airspace with those Israeli fighters as well. So certainly quite notable there. He did not get into the time frame. He said that they are on track, but they have not set a definitive time frame for when this conflict could end. He was also asked about that South Pars gas field, which is a jointly owned between Qatar and Iran, this major gas field that supplies a vast majority of energy to the world. President Trump on True Social last night said the U.S. knew nothing about this particular attack that Israel did on the Iranian side of the South Pars gas field. And the president also said there will be no more attacks made by Israel pertaining to this, but if Iran would retaliate against Israel in striking parts of Qatar's ownership of the gas field, then the president is threatening to bomb that site. Now, Secretary Hegseth has said that the U.S. is leading this fight, that they are leading this war, but this is certainly turning to a new page where it seems that critical infrastructure as it relates to gas and energy are becoming main targets in the region. So there's a lot to watch in that space today that we learned from this Pentagon press briefing.
And of course, that's spiking oil prices, and that will trickle down to Americans here at home. Olivia, President Trump is set to meet with Japan's prime minister today after calling on nations, including Japan, to help secure the Strait of Hormuz. What do you think we can expect?
Well, in her own words, the Japanese prime minister said that this is going to be a difficult meeting. This meeting was supposed to be a big announcement of investments from Japan and the U.S. leading into President Trump's meeting with Xi Jinping at the end of the month. That meeting has now been pushed off because of this war, and Japan is in a very difficult situation because President Trump has said that he wants them to be one of the countries that assists in reopening the Strait of Hormuz to try to bring down those high oil prices. However, Japan is a pacifist country. It is literally in their constitution that they can only react with their military in self-defense, not offensively. But the president and Secretary Bessent on Fox Business this morning said that they have a very good Navy, that they want to use their minesweepers in particular in the Strait of Hormuz to try to tackle some of those high prices. There will be some economic announcements, but we have this Oval Office meeting coming up where the press is expected to be brought in, being able to question both of them. So this is going to be very enlightening to see where this relationship between the U.S. and Japan is right now. President Trump also really likes their prime minister. When he visited Japan last year, he gave her glowing reviews over and over and over. But now he wants their military to help in Iran and the Strait, and it will be very telling to see what the answer is.
All right, Olivia Rinaldi in Washington. Thank you, Olivia.